Hey guys, East from FGC Academy here. Recently, Capcom released a Season 2 update for Street Fighter V. This includes a slew of changes for the characters, as well as mechanics updates for the entire system of the game. It can be a little bit difficult to sift through the notes that they released, so what we're doing here today is taking a look at some of the more influential changes that you should be on the lookout for Season 2. Let's take a look. Looking at Rashid, I believe that Rashid got the most changes out of any character in Season 1. Just looking over the PDF file that Capcom released, Rashid got like 4 or 5 pages of changes. Most characters got like 1 or 2 at best, in rare cases 3. But yeah, he was a character who in Season 1, he had a lot of good tools, a lot of good options, but a lot of people felt that at the highest level of play, he just didn't have the damage output to keep up with the other characters. It just took him more hits to get the same amount of damage that other characters could get, maybe a combo or some stray hits. But he did get some of those things addressed in the update. He got some random damage increases some places, some stun increases other places, but they did tone down a lot of his, I guess, for lack of a better word, derpier moves you can kind of just throw out with reckless abandon. First, taking a look at some of the buffs. His V skill, the roll on the ground, is now more projectile invincible, and it's also cancelable into critical art. I know the dev team put out some information saying that they were trying to make it so that Rashid players had more access or better access to his critical art out of combos. So this is one of the ways to do that. So you can now cancel the hit of the V skill roll into critical art. In addition, like I said, his some moves did get buffed in damage. All of his spinning mixers received plus 10 damage. So before they were 80, 10, 130, respectively, light, medium, and heavy. And now they do 90, 110, and then 140. In addition to that, he also got stun increases. And I can understand this. If you looked at Rashid's stun values for some of his attacks, they were these really odd numbers like 123 or like 148. And I guess as a Rashid player, you had to literally like keep a jigsaw puzzle of the attacks you're putting on your opponent to calculate the stun to make sure that your next attack or your next combo is going to completely stun your opponent. And so now they did make those or set those to even values. I believe now they are 150, 175, and 200 stun for light, medium, and heavy spinning mixer. In addition, the heavy punch spinning mixer did get a nice buff in that you should more easily get all the hits now. I know some Rashid players opted not to use that move because sometimes the hits would drop or they were inconsistent in getting the same amount of hits each time. And now he should get more hits. In addition, he does a hitbox behind him, and I haven't tested it yet, but I'm interested to see if he has the possibility to hit cross-ups with that move now. So that would be an interesting buff, I think, to him. Moving along, his V-trigger, which is a really nice move. It's basically a moving wall towards your opponent. Kind of had this flaw in it in Season 1 where you could just use an EX for invincible move and just kind of go through it and negate all of his V-skill pressure, or excuse me, V-trigger pressure entirely. Now they've changed it so that moves that are projectile invincible are not able to go through the V-trigger anymore. And yeah, I'll be honest, that's I played a character who did have V-trigger, or excuse me, fireball invincible moves, and I would oftentimes use it to get through the hurricane, but now I can understand that he gets to use his V-trigger. That's fair. Next, like I said before, the dev team did mention they want Rashid players to have better access to combos which end in critical art to get bigger damage off. And one of those buffs is so now he should have bigger hitbox on his super. So some moves that were almost close enough to hit but just weren't quite there should hit now if you cancel into super. Also, it moves forward faster. So juggle attacks or juggles which are really close to the ground or are really close to hitting before you get there should be able to hit now. And finally, they decided to buff his anti-air game by giving him a jump medium punch, which is now special cancelable. In Season 1, if you weren't aware, his light punch was actually special cancelable into the air eagle spike. And now that was removed, so now the light punch is no longer cancelable at all, and the jumping medium punch is cancelable. So you should be getting higher reward off of your anti-air guesses if you jump and hit the opponent with jump medium punch. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the nerfs. Like I did mention before, he did get some of his brainless moves nerfed. One of those was Standing Heavy Kick. A Standing Heavy Kick it's a really good attack because it goes over low attacks, and it's got a really weird hitbox. And so now that attack, which was safe but at disadvantage in Season 1, is now unsafe, and also you're able to be punished in some situations. So the move was -2 before, now it's -4, which means 3-frame jabs, 4-frame jabs, and some special moves will be able to hit it. In addition, other moves, for example, his Crouching Heavy Punch saw some reduction in usability. It has 4 more frames of recovery. The move he kind of used to play footsies, you could press it over and over again, and it's 2 hits. So if you got 1 hit, then you cancel into something. Now it's a bit more punishable on whiff. It's got more recovery. It does have the same advantage, and on hit it has less pushback on block. I'm not sure if that's to his advantage or disadvantage, but that's something that you should probably be aware of. Although it did get a small buff, it's +1 frame advantage on hit now, so it was +6 on hit in Season 1, now it's +7. In addition to that, it does have a bigger hurt box. Sorry, that's not listed here, but as you can see, Rashid got a ton of changes, and it was tough to pick the best ones or the most important ones here. Also, his V reversal, which was his kind of rolling out of trouble move, now has 3 more frames of recovery and has less range. Considering it was very similar to Nash's, I think that the Capcom's design choices this season were to make those kinds of V reversals less safe, and so in keeping up with Nash, Rashid has been nerfed in the same way. It goes not as far as it did before, and it takes longer to recover. And finally, his Air Eagle Spike saw a ton of changes. The first being his regular Eagle Spikes got some additional damage. Light and medium got +10 damage. The EX versions have more juggle potential. But if you're using like the raw Air Eagle Spike, trying to like mix up your jump-in timings, do know that there was a short or small damage reduction of about 10 damage. In the past, it did 130 on hit, which is a ton. Now it does 120. And Capcom noted that there are some ranges or some frames where Rashid will not rebound if the opponent is hit or block. So finding that perfect sweet spot, so to speak, is to your advantage, considering A, if you hit the opponent, you're likely to be able to follow up because you don't rebound away from them. But be careful, if you're doing it randomly, you'll fall next to your opponent in some cases, and they'll be able to punish you fully. Just some other offhanded changes. His Air Eagle Spikes lost 20 damage, and it has a bigger hurt box. However, it does rebound farther. And also, I wasn't aware of this for Season 1, but his EX Dash Mixer, which I wasn't even aware of, you could even do EX Dash Mixer, Spinning Mixer, into his Air Eagle Spike got a small damage boost. So when you use the Air Eagle Spike out of specifically EX Dash Mixer, you get +30 damage. So in the past it did 140, now it does 170. In addition, it has better juggle potential, and you're more likely to get all of the hits. I think that's one of the biggest biggest boons to Rashid, is that now he has better chance to get all of the hits on some of his like multi-hitting moves, which are in the past really inconsistent. Yeah, overall, I think that he did get the damage increases that he needed. He got 10s and 20s here and there, which is really good. And he also did get more access to his critical art, which would allow him to dish out more damage. And also, they made his V trigger a lot more, I guess, viable. Where in the past it was kind of easy to get away from and easy to nullify. Now he has a chance to actually put pressure on the opponent and get more damage in the meantime. And yeah, I am happy to see that some of his more brainless moves did see some nerfs. I think that overall in Season 2 he'll be definitely a contender or a stronger character than he was in Season 1. So the problem of Season 1, arguably the most hated character, R.Mika, looking at the changes that she got, I feel that she got necessary nerfs, but they didn't nerf her as bad as I thought they would. I honestly expected Capcom to chop off one of her arms and consider her, or no longer consider her a throw character, but that's definitely not the case. She's definitely still a viable character, though her mix-up is not as strong as it was before, although it is still quite strong. So first, taking a look at some of the buffs, she got a lot of normal changes, but maybe the biggest one that you should be concerned with is her standing medium punch. Her standing medium punch, it's got less active frames, however it does have more advantage on hit. So in the past it was +7, now it's +8. That'll likely allow Mika players to open up more combo opportunities during the match. She also got a new target combo, I believe the Shooting Star combo. That name could be wrong, but don't hold me to it. But its target combo is jumping medium punch to jumping heavy punch. I feel as though Capcom's answer to characters who didn't have very strong anti-airs was to give them a jumping target combo. I'm not sure how that's going to affect those characters, if it's going to be very viable. I honestly believe that kind of attack requires a lot of concentration to look for, and a lot of focus to be able to use in a match at any moment while you're also playing footsies. But she does have a new option, and that's good for her damage output. Looking at her V skill, she got some interesting changes to this. The V skill got super armor faster, if that makes sense. So before, when she activated the V skill in the beginning, there were a few frames where she could be hit before it actually started up, or her armor started up. Well, the amount of, or the time that she gets super armor was reduced to frame 5. I believe in the past it was frame 11. Now it's frame 5, so you can not exactly use it during your opponent's block strings, but at footsie range, again, if your opponent's even a little bit closer, you can get out the V skill and get the armor and try to retaliate with the microphone throw faster. Also, she doesn't lose the power-up if she's hit, which I think is a really interesting change from Capcom, saying that you can do it and you can get the boost even if they hit you. So if you're really hard up for damage during a match, and that's, you have more life to play with, and that's definitely an option for Mika players to go to. Actually, taking a look here, they did, however, reduce the throw damage bonus that she got. In the past, whenever she got a successful V skill, I think at the first level, she got a 25% increase to her throw damage. That's been reduced to a 20% increase. So while you do more likely get V skill, you're going to get less damage off of the throws specifically. The normal attacks were not altered. Next, let's take a look at some of the nerfs. I'm pretty sure this is what most people are more interested in. In addition to the buff she did get, her standing light punch was made weaker, so she's now a 3-frame jab, or excuse me, a 4-frame jab character. In the past, she had a 3-frame standing light punch. Now it's 4 frames. And a lot of her moves, or normal attacks, were changed to compensate that. In addition, her crouching heavy punch now is 2 frames more at disadvantage than it was on block before. So her crouching heavy punch, where she kind of just like shoulder tackles into you, which was really difficult to defend against in some cases, because it was tricky telling the ranges where she was at advantage and at disadvantage. Now she's more likely going to be at disadvantage, and so going from -4 to -6 really makes Mika players question the ranges or the times they're gonna throw out that move. And the change that I think everyone is happy to see, her back forward medium punch and back forward medium punch target combo were severely nerfed. So the back and forward heavy punch, so it got +2 frames to start up. So now it was +6, or excuse me, it was 6 frames startup before. Now it's 8 frames startup. That's likely why the medium punch got an increase on a frame advantage. It has +7 recovery from what it had in Season 1. So before 13 frames, now 20 frames. So very punishable if the opponent blocks it. It's very obvious that you can be hit. She lost frame advantage on hit. If you just do the raw back or forward medium punch, it's now 0. And considering that Mika is now a 4-frame jab or light attack character, that's a really bad position to be in, just throwing out the back or forward medium punch. And on block, it lost 6 frames of advantage. So now it's -8, where in the past it was only -2. So just using the back for medium punch without the target combo is a risk in itself. And she also got a bigger hurt box on her feet when she does that attack, so you can kind of be clipped out of that during footsies now. And if you try to use the target combo, the opponents will no longer hit the wall mid-screen. And so that's a kind of big change for her. Before it was basically you backdash and you got a wall bounce even mid-screen. That no longer happens. The opponent will just continue moving forward. And yes, this is a big nerf where she doesn't get the kind of corner pressure she gets in every situation in Season 1. Now, basically, she gets one of these. If she hits you with one of these, you're basically put into the corner. And then she has to follow up and try to get you again in the corner to get the strong mix-up that she had. Make no mistake, the mix-ups that she had in Season 1 are not gone in the corner. However, mid-screen she doesn't get them anymore. And finally, her Brimstone throw lost 10 damage basically all around. So before doing 130, 140, 150 light, medium, heavy, it does 120, 130, and 140 respectively now. So yeah, R.Mika, a character who was incredibly powerful because of her basically anywhere mix-up game. In Season 2, I think is going to see a little bit less usability. I feel like characters who went to her only for her strengths are going to drop her. But she is, make no mistake, in the corner she has the same dangerous and powerful mix-ups. So if people are willing to play the footsie game and kind of play that smart Mika game and kind of pushing your opponent to the corner, they're still going to see the same rewards. It's just going to take a little bit longer time than it did in Season 1. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought about the changes so far in the comments below. Also, let us know what characters you'd like to see next. So we are trying to get these out as soon as possible, hopefully finishing up the entire cast in about 2 or 3 weeks. So let us know who you want to see next. Thanks, take care, keep on fighting.